Well, yeah, and everything that I have studied and heard is like condos historically have been this crucial first rung, especially in high cost areas like LA, the Bay, and San Diego. Like that is where you start. That's where you start building your equity. And if that rung of the ladder is getting rotten, it's a tough situation, especially because we have all these affordability problems already in the single family market.
Hello, and welcome to Let Me Ask You This, brought to you by the California Association of Realtors. My name is Matt Roberts. I'm the C.A.R. Federal and Local Government Affairs Director.
And I'm Mike Falk, C.A.R.'s public policy economist.
And Mike, on this episode, we want to talk about condominiums, specifically what the condo market is doing right now. This is one of those canary in the coal mine issues where for the last year or two, well, actually, probably going back maybe 2 or 3 years, we started to hear rumblings from members in the street about trends they were seeing, struggles they were seeing in the condo market. And we always say when we start to hear things from members 6 months, a year later, we can start to quantify it in the numbers, start to see it
Mhm.
in what research and econ puts together. So let's start real simply. When you look at the sales and the price data of condos, what's going on in the condo market?
Well, honestly, the last 3 years have been pretty rough in terms of sales. There's a big peak in 2021, but in 23, 24, 25, condo sales have barely cracked 40,000 in each of those 3 years. And what we're seeing now is that there's indications that this year, 2026, isn't going to be much better. In fact, it might be a continued decline.
All right, so let me ask you, you said that the condo sales are low and you threw out about what they're at right now. You said about 40,000. Just for context, because we usually talk about single family homes, and we're saying normally that you like see 400 to 500,000 homes sold a year. For the condo market, what's the long term sales for average number of condos sold in a year? What should we be at for a good year?
So I kind of looked at like 2015 to 2020 as being so-called normal years to compare against. And the yearly sales then were about 60,000. Sometimes they crossed it, sometimes they went over. And then in 2021, there was a huge spike, uh, which was probably due to remote work, due to the whole world being upside down and people relocating. But ever since then, it's been part of that larger trend that we've seen with single family homes where they're kind of just stuck in the doldrums.
Yeah, and I'm sure the 3% mortgage rates didn't hurt either.
Yeah, oh
But
yeah. We left that out somehow. Yeah, yeah.
so, all right, but sales are down across the board.
Mhm.
So, are the sales lower in condos in do those line up with lower sales in single family homes, or should we be seeing uh, an increase in condo sales because of home prices, or are they lower than we would expect given market conditions? You know, Sales are down across the board. Why are lower condo sales, or at least the numbers you're seeing, so worrisome to you?
Well, what's interesting about it to me is that condos historically have been this affordable option, this first step getting your toe in the door of homeownership, particularly in larger urban areas where most of the condos are. And so when you have a median price of about 600,000 across the state for a condo, that's obviously a lot less than the median home prices we've seen for single family homes. And part of the reason why single family homes just being out of reach leads to less sales. But with condos, you have a more affordable option, but it seems like the demand, at least in the data, what we're seeing is that the demand is somewhat limited right now, or at least it's below those more normal years that stopped after 2020.
So, what do you think is causing it right now?
Oof. I mean, I think that there's a lot of, different ways you can look at it. I know that, HOA fees and different issues with HOAs have been top of mind. Insurance, the availability of insurance. You talk about a canary in a coal mine, being unable to secure affordable insurance because the building is having a hard time getting it.
All right, Mike. So, you know, it's interesting when we talk to our members, we're hearing that the cause of the struggle in in the condo market seems to be not one specific issue, but a number of items. And I'm hearing from members that one of the struggles is this unfortunate set of timing where California implemented balcony inspection laws
Right.
and the unfortunate tragedy of Surfside in Florida. And so Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac said, okay, we need to, enhance our oversight and guidelines of structural integrity of condos. That coinciding with the balcony inspection, suddenly we're hearing from members there's a huge struggle to get condos approved for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And talk to us for a second. How big is it to have a condo development approved for Fannie, Freddie?
Yeah, I mean, if a condo development isn't backed by Fannie or Freddie, I mean, you're going to have fewer lending options. You're probably going to have a higher interest rate on your mortgage, larger down payment requirements, and you might have to resort to cash financing, non QM. Uh, it just kind of shrinks the pool of qualified buyers and buyers that are willing to take the plunge.
Yeah. What else are you hearing or seeing that's a hurdle for condos right now?
Well, one thing that I've been hearing, I'm not sure if this is affecting the data, but is the difficulty of obtaining insurance for a lot of these buildings, and as a result, for the people that are living there, and you know the affordability, the inability to get affordable insurance, which is a problem that's affecting more and more real estate transactions in the state. I think is having a big impact also on the condo market, from what I've been hearing.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because so often we hear about the struggles of home buyers to get insurance, and most people think of it, okay, the home's in the hill or fire risk areas or maybe even in flood areas. But you usually don't think of condos as having that problem. But there's a unique issue to condos, and that's the master policy, which a lot of people
Right.
don't think about.
Like all these issues are sort of interlocked with each other and sort of making each other worse. But ultimately, what's happening is that's hurting potential buyers in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's a number of market factors coming together,
Right.
really going against the condo market. And our members are seeing it firsthand. And unfortunately, home buyers are really the ones that are being punished right now.
Well, yeah, and everything that I, have studied and heard is, like condos historically have been this crucial first rung, especially in high cost areas like LA, the Bay, and San Diego. Like that is where you start. That's where you start building your equity. And if that rung of the ladder is getting rotten, it's a tough situation, especially because we have all these affordability problems already in the single family market.
Thanks for joining us this week. Mike, enjoyed our conversation on condos.
Yes.
And Deanne, good luck editing this. And we'll talk to you next time on Let Me Ask You This. Thank you.